It's reported that about 1/3 of international funds, as they try to rebalance their portfolios, are looking to Africa and are looking to make an allocation of about 5% of their investments on the continent in the next 5 years. So there is some sort of a positive sentiment. The question is, in current market conditions, is it going to be feasible?
I think it's a pleasant start to the year compared to the sort of troubles of last year.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that guys are looking at Africa. I think it's a good step forward for most of the economies and countries that FDI is looking to return. It's about whether their houses are in shape to accept the monies, whether houses are in shape to provide investors the necessary security around what they're putting in the countries. You know, if we get in, can we get out?
Yeah.
So when you want to weigh up Africa's yields, I mean, the benchmark remains South Africa.
Yeah.
Would you rather invest at 7% in South Africa or 10% in the rest of Africa based around liquidity? But I think the sort of deciding factor now has become the yields. We can look at Uganda, we can look at Kenya, well, generally East Africa, and say we've got yields of close to 20%.
Right.
It's starting to look like a viable risk option.
When you say, can we get in, can we get out, it speaks to me strategy. Investors, are they thinking long-term or are they taking short-term bets, saying get in there, invest in a project that makes you money and then get out?
I think that the get in and get out guys are the guys that look at the bond markets, the interest rate markets. I think they're looking for a drop in the sort of yield compression. They're looking for an opportunity to make money. In return, they'll provide the central bank with some funding. And obviously, when they want to get out, they need their funds back. But I think that the growth prospects in Africa is the one that's going to entice the guys getting in to build new airports, improve the ports, infrastructure, build businesses. FDI money is great on a sort of medium-term basis.
Right.
But I think for long-term investment, we have to look at the growth factors per country and see which one offers you a business return.
Right.
So having spoken to my guys in the team and, you know, we strategize on what we want to do, we have said, you know, we need to look for possible acquisitions in Africa from Europe. European money is still sitting. The pool of money is the same. It needs to go somewhere where it can earn better than 0.5% or 1%. And I think there are countries that offer that. And that's why Nigeria and Kenya spring up out of the rest of them.
You've raised two interesting points. That obviously a lot of investors would be coming through capital markets, but these are illiquid markets, and we might see an improvement in FDI, but those are physical long-term investment plays. What do investors prefer at this juncture? Do they want to come into bonds? Do they want to buy equities? Do they want to make acquisitions and build companies? What is it that people want to do?
I think when it goes to the equity space, equities are influenced by a very limited amount of stocks available on the exchanges in the country. So that kind of makes people nervous. You go into the Kenyan market, you know, people might look at Safaricom and say, what's Safaricom going to do before I look to buy something else, versus the potential yield that Safaricom offers. I think when the guys are looking at yields and looking at currency stability, which we've seen over the last while now, which is encouraging to investors, they like the nice yield. You know, 17, 18% yields, a stable currency. I think it's attractive to the investors. Great signs for us.
All right, now it's reported that of the hotspots, Nigeria and Kenya come out number one. Nigeria, obviously, it's the whole critical mass, it's the oil story, and it's the reforms that we're seeing. But Kenya's really underperformed, well, certainly on a stock market perspective, and they've got elections coming up, and so there's that political risk element. Will they continue to dominate?
I think their regional presence, yes, they will dominate from a regional point of view. I think if you put Kenya into West Africa, then probably not. But given the geography of Africa, Kenya will dominate. It's underperformed, but I suppose if you looked at it regionally, it hasn't done that badly, but are we comparing bad with bad? You know, we prefer to be comparing good with bad. I think Kenya offers liquidity. I think it offers the structures. I think the central bank has got its act together. So things are looking better for the Kenyan markets. On the other side of it, you've got Tanzania. I don't think guys are going to rush in there. Uganda, I think, looks a nice short-term investment possibility as well. I think the yields are great, 24% for 1 year. But I think the Kenyan market will offer that, just again through the size of the market. If we go to the West Africa side, Nigeria is Nigeria. We've got problems in the north, we've got problems in the south, all being ignored because of the consumers. You know, 160 million people. There's a lot of some consumer background there.
Another interesting fact is that Zimbabwe, then Egypt, then Ghana, then Libya follow in the rankings of preferred destinations. Zimbabwe, then Egypt,
Yeah.
Ghana, we can
Ghana,
understand,
we understand.
then Libya. So all the political hot potatoes remain attractive.
I think we've got two political hot potatoes and one sort of cold potato in Zimbabwe. You know, it's ongoing problems in Zimbabwe, been going on for a while. But I think, you know, out of ashes, we do see green shoots rising out of Zimbabwe. There's a lot of good stuff happening in Zimbabwe. If we could remove the political concerns that are there, things are looking better. But how much more can be done wrong politically? I think Zimbabwe is a great market. I think it's an opportunity market. And that's what guys are doing, looking for the opportunities that Zimbabwe can offer guys. We're seeing a lot of business coming out of Zimbabwe. We're certainly seeing an increase in the amount of foreign exchange businesses that they're looking to do. So I think Zimbabwe does offer huge potential. Egypt and Libya, can't really comment on those too much. We don't do, we're not doing a heck of a lot there. But again, I think people are saying, you know, it's burned for so long and it's burned to the ground. You know, there must be opportunity now. There's going to be stuff coming out of it.
Got to rebuild. And then Ghana, obviously. Let's talk about the pros now. When you are doing an evaluation, why come to Africa? What would you list as pros?
I think that the yield return that's being offered, firstly. I think that the whole world is focusing on sort of growth numbers around the world. If we look at growth internationally, sure, there's other emerging market countries that are offering us growth potential, but not so many in one location as Africa's offering. I think it's the whole growth prospect that people are looking for. I think the world's had so much bad news. We're still waiting to see what's happening in Europe. Is it going to settle down? But I think we're moving away from worrying about bad news as opposed to looking about where we now look for opportunity. I think Africa offers that opportunity.
Looking at pros as well, they refer analysts to income convergence with Asia. Explain to me income convergence and how realistic it is that just because we've got a growing middle class, we're doing as well in terms of the rapid growth of incomes as what Asia's doing.
We look across the middle classes and say, are the middle classes expanding on a percentage basis, and then the consumers? So how many consumers are growing in Asia and how many consumers are growing in Africa? I think Asia's probably still leading the way for us.
Okay.
But I think as we settle down and as that middle class settles, as there are good governances, not that I could say there's a huge amount of good governance in Africa, but certainly from an Africa side, to look at where the GDPs are growing, refer to our latest investor guide on Africa, and it gives us great background as to